Another Monday talking all things Kansas City with our 50-50 elected mayor, Mayor Quinton Lucas of Kansas City, Missouri. Now, today marks the return of bus fares after nearly 6 years of free transit. For a lot of Kansas Citians living paycheck to paycheck, that's another $62 a month they now have to find just to get to work, school, doctor's appointments, and back home. Now, at the same time, the streetcar, which I am a big proponent of, so are you, Mayor Lucas, remains free, despite being one of the city's biggest transportation investments. Now, help people understand this, Mayor Lucas. How can Kansas City justify charging bus riders, many of whom have the fewest transportation options, while keeping the streetcar free? And what do you say to residents who feel like the people who need transit the most are being asked to carry the burden?
I don't think there is a fair justification to charging for buses when the streetcar is free, and frankly, when bus fares don't even go to paying probably 20% of the system costs. I think this is a mistake. This is something that we've shared. It was Kansas City, Missouri's position that we actually keep truly zero fare transit throughout. There is a regional agency that runs the ATA, roughly 11 members, 3 of which appointed by me as the mayor of Kansas City, the rest coming from places like Cass County and Leavenworth County. I think this is something that we will regret. Now, what have we tried to do to make sure that it works for people who are of need? We continue to have functionally free fare. You can go to the United Way of Kansas City, the United Way, and make sure that you get access to a pass card that allows you to take part in our free fare program still. So the idea is those who are needy will continue to be able to ride the system. But no, I think this was the sort of system, this change was inspired by fear of the homeless, fear of people that you don't necessarily want to be around. And I'll tell you this, I was riding a streetcar yesterday. Streetcar isn't just a bunch of tourists. I was there on a Sunday, and there are people who are unhoused. There are people who are traveling for work. There are people in their work uniforms going to work at a restaurant or a hotel. That's the sort of thing that this whole city deserves. So I think this is something that's regrettable. I'm proud that for 6 years of my 8 years as mayor, we had this system. I think it helped change lives.
Mayor Lucas, on Twitter the other day, you sounded like somebody's black mama with the, hey, KC, we have company, so act like you got a little bit of home training. Now, the FIFA World Cup matches begin within 9 days in KC. Lionel Messi and his Argentina team have landed in KC, and now this is the moment of truth. What do you expect from KC as we navigate this entirely new experience?
Kansas City, just like your family, we're going to act right. We are going to make sure that our guests are welcome, not just our friends from Argentina, but from all around the world. And frankly, we're going to do it for ourselves. Kansas City is an amazing city that is too often marred by incidents that I think none of us want to see. And I expect that this summer, particularly in some of those bars that are staying open late, although many of them cannot, but I hope that we are going to see people who are respectful. We always have that are kind, keeping your guns at home, not bringing them out, not building out some of the same foolishness that sometimes holds us back. This is an opportunity for Kansas City to share to the world who we are. And I know before people get annoyed and say, Q, I ain't worried about none of that. I want y'all to fix the potholes. Let me tell you why this is important. This generates business. This generates tourism opportunity. This generates jobs for people back here in Kansas City. And when I talk to my folks who are working in the restaurant industry, when I talk to folks who have small businesses, when I talk to people who are at our hotels, they want customers. They want customers, opportunity, eventually more money for them. That's what this builds for us. So yes, don't act a fool, and make sure that this is a summer we can all be proud of.
We are talking all things Kansas City with Mayor Quinton Lucas right here on Hustle and Shine in the morning. Now, Mayor Lucas, today is the start of Pride Month, and more than 250 people have signed a petition calling on Kansas City Pride to bar elected officials, including yourself, from participating because of the recent vote to repeal the city's conversion therapy ban. Some members of the LGBTQ plus community feel disappointed and betrayed, Mayor Lucas, while others say that there's more nuance to the issue. What would you say directly to the LGBTQ plus Kansas Citians who feel their trust has been shaken a little bit, and how do you plan to rebuild that trust moving forward?
Look, I mean, first of all, I'm just going to go on the basics, right? I have been a supporter of the LGBTQ community since childhood. Members of my family, so many others. So that's something that runs since the 80s. You can do the everyday political sort of stuff. And I think there are some for their own political gain are trying to weaponize acceptance. I think that is unfortunate. And that's just, I guess, the way they're going to be. The reality and the one that we've shared to those who care to listen, and it's not as clickable, so I imagine some don't. The United States Supreme Court struck down basically conversion therapy bans like ours, struck it down. And we are in court right now for people who are saying, why'd y'all have to move? We are in court. Our plan was to repeal and replace. We have an ordinance probably that will drop today that will be the strongest protection in the country from any American city standing against conversion therapy, but more than anything, standing for and with our LGBTQ community, particularly our young people. I'm proud of that. And let me tell you this, over my years, and I'm proud to be a lawyer. I'm not a born communicator. And I leave that to y'all. But as a lawyer, I'm going to make sure that we do right, that we're not just performing, but we're actually making real progress and we're passing real substance. And that's what the LGBTQ community wants from me. That's what the Black community wants from me. Y'all don't want somebody just clicking and coming up with the best reels around, because you can get those carnival barkers anywhere. You want somebody who's passing real protections. That's what we're doing. The Supreme Court, MAGA-inspired lawyers, the Missouri Attorney General forced us to have to react. We're going to react and I think build back stronger. And we're going to be the strongest protectors of our LGBTQ community ever. And I will be at Pride. I will be in our Black community celebrating our LGBTQ community of color, which is an important part of all of it. And I look forward to celebrating this month and accepting all.
Quickly, Mayor Lucas, before we dip out, a lot of our cousins are concerned about the green duck and that burning building yesterday. Any update on that story?
I think first things first, everybody is safe from that. Occasionally, when you have abandoned commercial structures, you worry about somebody squatting there, sleeping there. So that's step one. We're going back to do more inspection today to see how survivable, how salvageable the business is. But that was a tragedy to see yesterday over on 26th and Prospect.
We appreciate your time, Mayor Lucas. We'll holler at you next week. Please continue to be a blessing for Kansas City.
All right, take care, y'all. Later.